India, one of the most populated countries in the world, with a 1.2 billion population and the world's largest democracy. India holds 3 of the world's most popular religions, Hinduism, Buddhism and Sikhism, and is one of the world's fastest growing economies. The economy is growing at such a fast rate, yet India has the largest population of people living under the poverty line, with 46% of children under the age of 3 suffering from malnutrition. From this poverty and strife, numerous NGOs have come into existence, one of which being CEDAR. As an organisation, CEDAR works to promote education for children and women, teaching the importance of equality, allowing people within villages and communities ownership and develop self-expression. In July and August 2011, a group of 14 from Richmondshire, UK, travelled to Tamil Nadu, southern India, to work with CEDAR, supporting the vital youth work and community provision that they have to offer.
Previously I went to India with a university placement. That gave me the idea to get a group from Richmondshire to go across to India and sharing the experience with the charity. My expectations last time pretty similar to everyone else, what I'd seen on TV, in movies such as Slumdog Millionaire. So you go across with the thoughts of it's going to be completely poverty stricken.
I was shocked, overwhelmed by the traffic. There was just like so many things going on. There was like whole families on the bikes. There was like a woman, a man, 2 kids. None of them had helmets on.
You can actually feel the heat starting to hit you, but literally as soon as you stepped outside, the heat was just like a wall. It just hit you like this. It was horrible. Opened your eyes loads. And as soon as you stepped outside, the noise, the smells, the humidity. There's so much. It's like it's all hit you at once, and then that's when everything really became real at first, because it seemed like for the whole 2 years it's been so far away. It feels like we were never actually going to make it to India. And as soon as we stepped outside of the airport, we were like, this is real.
Noisy, manic.
The heat was kind of unbearable. For the girls particularly, they couldn't show their shoulders, they couldn't show their knees, so everything was just covered practically, but it was so hot and sticky and humid.
Like dogs.
Yeah, that dog's gonna attack it.
Covell Patty, we were in an apartment and it was really cramped because there were 6 girls in one room, and then the boys just like spread themselves around the living room and their own room. And then we had a Western toilet in Covell Patty, which was really clean. Well, kind of clean. The kitchen wasn't really a kitchen either though, because it just kind of had a sink and like tops. There was a balcony which the girls went and sunbathed on sometimes, and that was really it.
The thing.
The main purpose of our visit was to go over to a charity called CEDAR, and they promote the right to free education for women and children, and promote self-expression for children as well, especially. And so when we were over there, we interacted with over 1,000 children in the 2 weeks that we were in the main town.
She's 8. 8. He is 8. He is 6. You guys, do you know songs?
பாட்டு பாட தெரியுமான்னு கேக்குறாரு.
La 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 la.
இவர் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் உங்களுக்காண்டி ஒரு பாட்டு பாடுவாரு. He will sing a song first for you.
Oh my God. E-I-E-I-O. I'm not farming anything. E-I-E-I-O. Here. Everywhere.
We could only see the self-expression in the villages with what CEDAR do, because in the schools they're very strict, and we did see evidence of like we did see examples of like the children being hit with canes and everything still. And the classrooms were very basic. They had very basic equipment and everything, literally just a chalkboard and a few posters and things. So when we were over there, we bought loads of equipment and we took it over. We gave them all chalk, rubbers, pens and pencils, rulers, sharpeners and everything, and they were so grateful for it. The only kind of example of self-expression in school was in the PE lessons, but it wasn't exactly like PE compared to here. They literally just stand there with like wooden bricks and then just bang the bricks like behind them and do different movements and everything. That was literally all we could see from that.
Oh, what's that, mate? You gotta do scissors, you can't just jump straight over it. This is gonna be hilarious. Alright, mate. So hot. You can't block it? Yeah, mate.
I visited a match factory where there was like women working in horrible conditions, such as like sitting on the floor and just shaking boxes to make like matches, go into like separate boxes, and like for what they do, they work. And I think it's something ridiculous, like 9-hour days, 10-hour days, and get paid 15p a day. What do you think of the smell, Rich?
The smell in here is unbelievable.
How strong is it?
As soon as you walk in, it like hits you straight in the face. This is a big machine where the production line is. And see all this, there's thousands and thousands of matches being turned around. You come down here now.
Chemical.
This is the chemical. That goes on top of the match.
As we walked through the match factory, we got to this new like machine that they're trying to bring into the match factories, and there was sort of children working. Well, they seemed to me like young children working their machines, which suggested to me it was, you know, child labour, and seeing it firsthand is quite different to, you know, what you see on TV and things like that, because it really sort of hits home that these things actually happen, and for people to actually live and like support their families in these countries, they do have to send the children out to work, and they have to contribute to their family life just to get the basics like water and food and shelter, which is something we in Western culture take for granted, really.
Basically, the caste system is like a bit like our social class system, working class and upper class. With the disparities of being in our class system, you can work your way out of it. You can earn enough money to leave the home, the community you're from, and move on. Whereas a caste system in India, once you're born into a caste, you are in that caste for life, no matter what you become or what you do. And your opportunities in life are defined on what caste you are. So the higher castes are the Brahmins right at the top. They are the doctors, the scientists, the professional sports people. These are the guys that rise to the top and have the opportunities. At the bottom you have the Dalits, which are called the untouchables. Nicknamed that because people of higher castes are scared to touch them in case their caste rubs off on them, catching their diseases or so-called diseases.
The caste system is very important there. It kind of sets some rules for their living. No one associates really with anyone else within a different caste. They pretty much stay to themselves. It's a bit like one of the villages we went to, there was both upper caste and lower caste people within the village, and because the upper caste people wouldn't associate with the lower caste, they had to have two different temples which worship the same god, but the upper caste wouldn't go to the lower caste. And we actually ran a children's group there, and the parents of the upper caste children wouldn't let them come because they knew that Dalit children would be there.
We visited numerous temples. Every little village we went, there was a different temple, all just as colourful but worshipping different gods.
For most people, religion was a very important thing. They worship numerous times a day. They get up at silly times of the morning and go and worship all the way through the night. When we were travelling on the weekends to Cody Canal and Kerala, we always saw people walking through the streets to temples and just to go worship. The temples that were there were amazing. They were so big and so colourful, and you could tell that they really took pride in their temples.
Well, the food, first of all, the food was probably the biggest thing for me. I pretty much felt hungry the whole time. I think it was just there wasn't any meat, so it didn't fill us up. And there was 2 nights there was one night where we didn't have tea. I thought I was going to die that night. I was so hungry.
The food was great, and I really love spicy food, but even for me it was quite difficult to cope with curry for breakfast, lunch and dinner. But CEDAR were really good. They adjusted the breakfast for us, and people had bread and jam for breakfast and ice cream and all sorts of weird and wonderful things, but not curry.
One of the villages, we got invited to this person's house to have lunch, and so we're all sat on the floor. So, and then there's Joe, there's me, there's Edwina, Dawn, and then the Indian leaders who were like looking after us in front of us. And then Joe didn't understand how to scoop all the food up and then eat it with his hands. This woman was playing with Joe's food, and then she scooped it up and then like force fed it to Joe, and then Joe had to eat off her fingers, and she had quite large hands, and I was just wetting myself laughing because Joe was just like trying to eat off this woman's hands. It was so funny.
My lasting memories from India have to be when you work in the villages with the children. Every single one of the children are so happy. They've got a smile on their face all the time, and it's just so nice to see when you compare it to England and all the work you put in working with young people. And it's sort of like the Indian people appreciate things so much more when they've got so little. When you come to England and children have got PS3s, Xboxes, big TVs, and then they just walk around saying they're bored. And then, it's just so nice to see Indian children so happy with what they've got.
Great friendships, people that I don't think I'll ever forget, memories that you just never forget. It was the experience of a lifetime.
I thought a lot about it when I came home. I thought about how I live, how other people live, how materialistic we are over here in this country. I thought I'd become a better person for going over there and helping these young people. And I have to pay a lot of respect to Chris, who got it all together, and everyone who made it a possible experience, because it was this phenomenal experience and I absolutely loved it.